And yeah, that was the turning point where I believed that there was something that we don't understand there.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Channel 1031, the show where I interview other haunters about upcoming things in the Halloween world or things that they recently announced and things that they have upcoming. Today, I have a very unique guest. We haven't had anyone on the show like this in the past. He's been a paranormal investigator for over 10 years. He's a part of the CasperCop investigating team, and he hosts ghost tours and paranormal investigations to bring the public along on his attempts to collect evidence in the paranormal world. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest for Channel 1031 today is James from the CasperCops. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a very cool episode. I have a lot of cool questions to James about how he does what he does and really what paranormal investigating is really about. So let's get to the questions. Alright, so I wanted to start off with a question that sort of explains how you got into what you do today, and kind of what sparked your interest for paranormal investigation. So the question is, how long ago did you start paranormal investigation? What made you want to start, and what sort of started your interest in the hobby that you have today?
Well, I started out, well, first let me start out by saying I'm a retired private investigator. I've been doing that for over 25 years. What got me interested in it was the Ghost Hunters, the TV show Ghost Hunters. I thought about it. I got all the cameras and recorders already. All I needed is a dark, spooky place. This was about 15 years ago. I joined some groups. We actually, you're familiar with the Ghost Hunters, right?
Yeah.
Back then, they had groups around, and it was like a family network. They called it the TAPS Family Network, and I was a part of the group that was part of the TAPS Family Network. So we ended up doing a lot of their stuff, but I figured out that the group thing wasn't for me, so I went out on my own. So around 2013, I saw that Sylvan Beach Amusement Park, the Yesterday's Royal, it's a bar located on the park. They were hiring for weekend staff, and this was around the time where the Ghost Hunters came and did their episode Scream Park. They came to the park, did an investigation, and they actually found some paranormal evidence. So I saw that they were hiring for weekend staff, so I thought I could actually work in a haunted location. Yeah, that was for me. So I applied for the job, and I started working as a bouncer every Friday night and Saturday night. I saw that they were advertising for a ghost tour / dinner. I inquired about it, and they said they were looking for a host, and I told them my background, and they said, all right, we'll give you a shot. And years later, I do Park After Dark ghost tours at Sylvan Beach Amusement Park, and it has not been disappointing.
Well, there you go. You have an interesting story then how you got into it, and obviously you're very experienced. Like you said, like 15 years. So obviously, you have a lot of knowledge when it comes to that, and it's definitely interesting to hear how you got into this. So the next question here kind of ties into how you got started. So the question is like, were there certain places that you visited to hunt for evidence first? Certain places that you stopped by? If so, when did you get your first evidence yourself that really proved to you, this is a cool thing that I'm doing and I want to do more of it?
The first, well, let me think about it. Like I said, when I was with the group, we did a lot of private homes, and I really didn't come across much during that time. I even made it a point that after I left the groups, I went to the really heavy known demonic locations just to look for any type of activity. Could never find it until I went to the park. I started working at the park, and that's when it all happened for me. I was like a very hardcore skeptic. See, what I do in my professional life is I go out and I collect evidence, and then I put it in front of a judge and say, Your Honor, this is what happened, and here's the video to back up what happened. I take that same kind of worth ethic into the paranormal, where I won't show you anything I believe is paranormal if I can't back it up with some type of evidence of some type of hardcore video, audio, something like that that I can't explain. So that's how pretty much I operate my paranormal investigations. There's a particular building on the park. It's called the Arcade. The very first night we were in there, there was about 6 of us. We were conducting an EVP session. EVP stands for electronic voice phenomena. There's a theory that electronic devices can pick up more than what the human ear can. So what you would do is you would take a recorder, press record, ask your question, then wait a couple minutes, press stop, press play to see if you got a response. So while we were sitting there conducting an EVP session, I thought I heard somebody take a deep breath. So I asked, did somebody just take a deep breath? A gentleman 2 people down from me said, yes, that was me. Is that something that you listen for? And I was like, well, not necessarily, but I'll be listening back to my recording. Now I'll know somebody actually took a deep breath. As soon as I said that, we hear what sounded like a coin hit the floor. And I asked, did somebody just drop something? And I can't see how we're all sitting on the floor. Everybody denied it. I got up. Sure enough, I found a quarter. It was probably about 10 feet from where we were sitting. And I asked again when I picked it up, you sure nobody dropped this? And everybody denied it. So, all right, we moved on. The next night we were in there, there was probably 14 of us. And I heard what sounded like a piece of wood hit the floor. So I walk over to the area. Sure enough, pick up the piece of wood. It looked like it was a door shim, something you would shim a door open with to keep it open. And I asked, did anybody accidentally kick this? And as soon as I said that, a quarter come flying over some games, landed right at my feet. And I immediately took my flashlight, pointed at him, said, hey, I pointed it over in the direction where it came from, and there were 2 people standing over there. And I started accusing them of actually throwing that coin. And they denied it. I argued with them. They denied it. All right, so I picked it up, put it in my pocket. We moved on. The next night was the night where I was convinced that, yep, that place was haunted. That night, there was only 3 of us. We could literally hear change jingling in somebody's pocket, and then you'd hear coins just flying all over the place. And yeah, that was the turning point where I believed that there was something that we don't understand there.
Well, definitely that sounds interesting. That's one of the most interesting paranormal stories I've heard, with coins like dropping. Obviously, sometimes you hear things about entities using objects and making noise and such, so it's interesting to hear in your case dropping coins. And also you mentioned that it was an arcade, which is like another interesting thing, that it would be used in an arcade. So yeah, that's definitely strange occurrences, and definitely a good first evidence, I guess, for you to really convince you that there was something there. This next question actually ties into the TV shows. So the question is, obviously there are a lot of paranormal investigation TV shows that are still happening. Some have ended, but there are ones that are still going on today. What do these shows get right and wrong? How accurate are the TV shows to real paranormal investigation? Obviously, you've done this for years and years and years. So in your experience, are there things on the TV shows that are not accurate to what a real paranormal investigation is really like?
Yes. All right. Here's the deal. The paranormal field is wide open. Nobody knows. Nobody knows anything. There is no device known to man that can communicate with ghosts because, according to science, ghosts don't exist, period. So everything that you're seeing on the TV, it's pretty much pseudoscience. It's fun. I have friends that have all the equipment, but at the end of the day, you really don't have anything from that equipment. My main thing is, why don't we focus on actually trying to prove that they exist first? You can't really investigate something that doesn't exist. And right now, nobody knows what it is. Is there something out there that we don't understand? Absolutely, 100%. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I have video of it. I've seen it many times. Is it our dead causing paranormal activity? I don't know. Nobody knows. This field seems like it's going more on opinion than facts. When you break it all down, people use religion to protect themselves from the ghosts or whatever. Well, religion is a man-made thing. And religion and science, history has shown, they really don't mix very well. Can you be religious and be a scientist? Absolutely. If you can take that religion and leave it at the door when you go into your office to work on science. But as far as the TV shows, it's entertainment. It's all entertainment.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So, official take on the TV shows. Obviously, then they are very different from the real thing, which I guess is another reason why you should go on in-person ghost tours with people like James, so you can actually experience what a real investigation is like. So you have an exclusive hot take on the ghost hunting TV shows. All right, so this next question goes into something that you could do in your paranormal investigations and things that you do as your preferred way of getting evidence. So the question is, do you use any specific tactics to bring out activity? I know you mentioned speaking out loud, so do you use that as a preferred way? Do you use actual items or devices? What are your preferred ways of bringing out evidence if you're not capturing any in the moment?
Well, I do try to entice activity. Through the years of investigating there, I am convinced that they 100% understand what we're asking them to do, and they mess with us. Sometimes they do the total opposite of what you ask them to do, and that's how I came to the conclusion that yes, not only do they manipulate small objects, but they can understand what we want them to do. My preferred data collection would be my video. I used to use it because I'm a retired private investigator, my camera. I used it every day. That's how I made my living, and that's how I conduct my ghost hunting investigations, just strictly with a camera and a microphone. For enticement, it depends. I've been into bars where the claims are maybe touchy-feely ghost while you're drinking. So of course I'll go into a bar, have a drink. There at the park, when I first got there, there was a claim of a little ghost girl. So of course I went to little bouncy balls, little dolls. We do roll quarters because that's the very first thing that I witnessed was the quarters flying out of the air. So pretty much you have to adapt to whatever the claims are. If you got a grumpy old man, you try to irritate him. to see if you can get any activity. You just have to adapt to whatever it is you're looking for.
Well, and also I think that's some good advice for people who want to start doing paranormal investigation. And how you just had like adapt to the situation that you're in. So like you said, like the coins was something that you noticed first, so it's something you use now. So I think everyone watching, if you want to get into this kind of hobby and paranormal activity, I think the thing that you witness and the things that you see, you could easily take and adapt it into the thing you use to try and entice activity. So I do think that is some good advice for you if you want to start doing the same thing that James does. This next question, I don't know if you'll have an answer for this or if this will be something that the park is your #1 answer, but I wrote it down, so I want to ask anyway. The question is, in your career of paranormal investigation, what have been the scariest places or the places with the most activity that you visited? Have there been any places that actually scared you when you were there while you were doing it? Or is the park your #1 most activity, most evidence found location?
Well, Griffin, the scariest place I've ever been is my head. But anyway, no, that's a joke. That's what I tell everybody when they ask me that, though. The only place that I thought about running and getting the hell out was the bar where I used to work. I spent several nights there alone with just my video camera, and behind the bar, I was in the bar area. I heard something smash, and it sounded like a bottle of booze from behind the bar on the floor. And at that point, I was literally gonna run, but I didn't. I hung in there and I grabbed my camera, walked back there, and there was nothing back there. There was no smashed bottles or anything like that. So that was about the scariest thing that I've ever been through.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, that's another interesting take on it, on how some people might be more afraid to the thing, and then others, I guess it's that sort of barrier of who wants to like investigate it and film it, capture evidence of it more than the people who are going to run away. And then I feel like there's a third category of the people who just want to deny it and don't believe it at all. So I think there's sort of 3 categories of people. You're either going to deny it and say that it's not true, or you're going to believe it, but you're not going to want to look more into it, or you're also going to believe it, but you want to look even more into it so you can capture more evidence of it. So I think there is really kind of 3 types of people who are going to take a look at the same evidence and have 3 different ideas about what the evidence really is. So I think that's another interesting thing on how you can really think about paranormal investigation and kind of who's going to be interested in it and who's more going to be afraid of it or not have any interest in it. So I think that's another interesting thing that you just brought up. I guess I'll end the interview with this last main question. You sort of touched on it before with religion and kind of how people look at paranormal stuff. But so I wanted to end it with this, and then there's a bloody bonus question for all my interviews. But the last question is, obviously you believe in ghosts. You brought it up multiple times, and after those, you're seeing the coins in the various in the bottle smashing, the various encounters you've had. So this last question is, in your mind, why do you believe that there are spirits in certain locations? Why do you think spirits and paranormal activity have a connection to our world, and sort of why do you think certain ghosts are in certain locations?
Here's what I believe it, and I believe it strongly. They're not just tied down. They can move. I've had the same activity in one building as I do in the other building. We've gotten a picture of the little girl on a certain ride. This little girl has been seen in multiple buildings. I'm not sure what it is. However, I can tell you that it might be a little girl because I have a picture that it appears to be a little girl, and the traits of the activity seems to imply that it's a little girl. Whether or not it's a dead little girl, I don't know. Here's how I look at the paranormal. I don't think we're intelligent enough to actually know it yet. Here's a good analogy. You're on a canoe, you're on top of the water, you're intelligent enough to know that there's fish underneath you. They live underneath you. However, the fish don't even care that you're up there. They don't care. They don't even know that anything else is up there until you smack the water. Then the fish go, whoof. And then all of a sudden, the fish go right back to what they're doing. I think in this instance, we're the fish. We're not intelligent enough, or we can't comprehend what actually is happening. We're quick, as humans, we're quick on needing an answer right away. Like, okay, if something happens that was scary, oh my gosh, it's demonic. It was a ghost. It was my old dead grandfather back in 1800s. That's how a human mind works, where it could be something totally different. It could have been just, all right, a door slam shut. Is that really demonic? I don't think so, personally. But as far as, again, I'll come back to, nobody knows what's going on in the paranormal world. So my suggestion is go with an open mind. All you need is a recorder and a dark place, and you can just go have some fun.
So the bloody bonus question for James is, if after you died, your spirit possessed a single item, what would the item be and who would get to keep it?
Oh, I know I'd haunt a few people, but good question. I think I would probably want to be attached to my video camera for some reason, some weird reason. And what was the other one? Who would I want to?
Yeah, who would you want to keep the item?
You, Griffin.
All right, I get to keep the haunted video camera.
You get to keep the haunted video camera. I'll make sure that you get lots of evidence with it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up this Channel 1031 episode with James from the CasperCops. I had a lot of fun filming this episode, talking to him about all the evidence he's captured in the past, and in his opinion, what paranormal investigation is really all about. And I think everyone watching out there really got a good idea of what paranormal investigation is really about. Again, you can go to the Park After Dark ghost tours and see James himself as he hosts the ghost tours. I'm filming this on 28th of August. I will be heading there this upcoming Friday, and I will be filming a video there. I'll probably be releasing this episode somewhere around there, so if you're watching this interview, the actual episode of me going to the ghost tour will either already be out or be coming out within the next couple of days, so definitely look out for that. And if you're in the nearby area, I definitely recommend you go and check it out for yourself also. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, as always, for everything scary, I'm GMHaunts. I see you guys later for more Channel 1031 episodes. Goodbye.